did not expect the Hilda.
Yeah, so I think this is really good because they're going to expect that level of aggression that we talked about coming up from CU soon. And what a Hilda brings to the table is just to make sure that if the opponent Roma just steps a little bit too close, a little bit too close to that Fenris blue buff, this is where the Hilda can bully him out. And this is something that, you know, CU soon have to be very cautious about because they have always been playing the very aggressive playstyle and they were punished by Falcons AP Bren back in MSC.
Yeah, and we see the boxy Guinevere. Haven't seen this hero for a long time. Aurora also for just some security, right? If you get jumped on, you got the passive every now and then to protect yourself. Falcons AP Bren, this is the last pick, and we get to find out where this Zaz is going to go. I mean, so it's gonna be the Xbox. So this is a Zaz go. Wait.
Yeah,
Xbox mid.
It could really
no, Ruby go. Wait.
It's very flexible, and then this is where Falcons AP Brand can throw CU soon a little bit off. But you know, as we see the swaps come in, looks like it's going to be a Zask mid. It's going to be a gold lane Ruby, and this is ingenious because that's going to putting a lot of pressure on the Claude. As Claude, you want the farm, and if you have a Ruby in your face, boy, that is a tough time to find resource to build up your items.
I mean, even towards the end, we are just questioning where does Zaz go, where is this Ruby going, Xborg question mark, till the names popped up, then we can confirm. That is what, I mean, Fcap, bro, that is already an advantage if you're a team that, with that diversity.
Yeah, well, final words, Gani, what do you feel about the draft?
Final words, Fcap, early game, done.
Alright, Fcap early game done. Thank you very much, Gani. We're going to send you off just for a little bit because stage is about to heat up for game 1 between Falcons AP Brand and CU soon. Aries, I'm feeling really good about this. I'm looking at Fcap and I'm like, they can run away with this, but conditions for CU soon to bring this back.
Well, I think first and foremost, there is a importance to kind of focus on making sure run as a Claude gets farmed out. We talk about the aggressiveness coming from AP Brand, and immediately
like
the first blood comes in.
Oh my god, first blood for Kaltizi, and perhaps he might get more.
Yeah, this is
no purple buff.
Yeah, this is fantastic for AP Brand, right? Because you want that Fanny to scale out of control and be a menace to see you soon. And with Fanny having a good game, if not a perfect game at this point, this is going to put on even more pressure on CU soon. Because you look at CU soon, they want that early game. They want to be able to have some sort of advantage over Falcons AP Brand. But with the current situation they're in, where do you go? Like, you know, you're going to be behind for the first turtle fight, and that's going to be a lot more pressure, as well as, you know, the amount of gap the goal lead the AP Brand will pull ahead.
This Hilda, right? You allow the Fanny to go for this early invade, you put pressure onto Flick, and Kaltizi, he's gonna have free reign of the jungle whenever he wants. The amount of pressure you can see that he's covering on the map, it feels suffocating even though we are under 2 minutes.
Yeah, this is not where you want to be as Boxy. As Guinevere, you really want to snowball and be able to provide the crowd control, and without that level 4, you're really not able to contribute to the team as much as you would like. On top of that, it's going to be super hard for the Aurora to wave clear as quickly and rotate as quickly as compared to the Zaz. You know, as Gani said earlier, the Zaz is a very independent kind of hero. He's able to kind of just hold his ground. He doesn't really need to rotate early in the game, and this gives Falcon AP Brand so much freedom.
Yeah, Ogwen just camping at the purple buff. He was spotted out, but that's an Aurora out committed. Flick still not level 4 just yet. Falcons AP Ranch slowly working on the turtle. Zaz has his minions to work within. Kaltizi just goes for the back. That's Boxy down for another time. And Falcons AP Brand, they can slowly dance this.
Yeah, and there's no way Felix is going to be able to do anything here. Maybe a hopeful Lords do, but I think that's too risky. You got Flap TZ in your face. Look at that.
Explosion? No, it doesn't connect. But it's fine, right? It's a winning matchup for Export against Terizla. You push the Terizla away, nothing much you can do. First turtle for Fcap.
Yeah, well, I'll just go back to what Gani said. He feels that this is early game set match. I gotta agree with this because the Hilda right now is a problem that CU don't have an answer to. Look at that! Look at Ogwen. He's just casually walking in, you know, into the jungle, harassing the jungle, and making sure that his team's jungler, he himself, Kaltizi, has a good time. And immediately, we could see a bottom clash.
See the pull Super Marco just looking to run away. I'm offended. When catching onto Ra, they freeze him in place, but Super Marco doesn't care.
Boy, this is rough. This is definitely rough to look at. And on top of it, Flapteezy now looking for a second engage at bot lane. Hopefully. Nah, he's just going to pick it up. And I think this is where Falcons AP can start to scale. You look at Phil, he's already putting pressure into the mid lane, and Ogwen already rotated to the top. So every lane has an advantage, and AP Bren just making the most out of it.
It must feel very nice to be able to get some extra gold without having to actually be involved. As much as Goni did say, wave clear questionable for Zaz, but he's actually the premier 1v1 hero. What you gonna do to him, right? I don't feel like anyone from See You Soon at this point of time can stand up against the Zask.
Yeah, I think the good thing about this but catching the mid lane.
There's a full combo knockup. He's fine. Few out of there again with the help of his ult and cashes in on some more gold.
And this is where that goal lead for AP Bren really shines. Despite having a good catch on the Zaz, they just don't have the items and the damage just yet to burst him down. And this is going to be worse for them.
Penalty zone onto Ogwen. They drop the kitchen sink, freezes him in place. Ogwen finally falls. You have Flapteezy in the front with the peel. Last Sandy out. Kauteezy joins in. The explosion, damage insufficient. Flapteezy chased down, flickers to safety, but Kauteezy going to work in the back line. And that will be Felix and Flick both going down.
Oh, this is classic. This is classic coming off the Hilda pick. They managed to pick out Ogwen, and we thought that was good, but expended 4 huge ultimates just for a Hilda, and that left nothing for See You Soon the moment the Fanny comes into the picture. And this is where I think AP Bren is absolutely genius with this Hilda pick. We talked about Zaz not having that wave clear, but with this Hilda, it gives a little bit more release on the pressure that Phil has to contribute to the team. He's more focused on just pushing out the lanes, being able to farm those items up, while Hilda does that heavy lifting that's needed for team to rotate around, create that pressure.
Let's get the knockout with the spatial migration, run on top of him, freezing Ogwen in place. This should be a kill. Committed with the blazing duet. Kauteezy goes on with the cut throw. Once run, doesn't get it, but the lethal ignition will. 4 kills for the Fanny.
Yeah, well, this is going to give a little bit of time for both Felix and Link to pick up a bit of farm. You know, Flapteezy playing with his life there, but he will get up safe. A lot sustained throughout if you look at the way that See You Soon play. If they can get to the late game, both Felix and Boxy will look out to set up for both Run and Flick. Now the question is, will AP Bren allow that? Because as things stand, as much as AP Bren have lead, they haven't been able to get any turrets at this point.
Sorry, Felix will need some help with the cut throw. That still cables is enough. Unstoppable Kauteezy, Boxy late to the party. And now we gotta talk about the jungler, right? You got a 5-0 Fanny on Fcap side. You got an 0-2 Ling. Where is Flick and how is he gonna recover? Because Run definitely would need a lot more time. Super Marco cuts him down.
A little bit unfortunate there, and there's really not much that Ra could do at this point. You know, Aurora, she's not one of the most mobile mages out there. She's quite limited to where the team fight happens, and this just gives AP Bren so much freedom. Look at that, top lane's pushing in, they're pushing down mid. You know, you have the Zaz right there in your face. Boxy going in.
He's gonna try. Even Ogwen just standing here to take the beating. This purple buff, you are not gonna get it for free. Super Marco almost kills off Flick. I mean, this Link is just not having a game at all.
Yeah, it's tough, it's tough. You know, that's the thing about picking Assassin's jungler. You're hoping to scale into the late game. But when you're up against a team with AP Bren and all 3 lanes are being lost, your jungle is invaded by the Hilda, there's just so little thing you can do.
Super Marco, he's still healing up and gets away at the end. Enough time for Flapteezy to show up, find a double kill, and the rest of See You Soon will say See You Soon indeed, but not in the way that they hope for. Super Marco refuses to relent, and Ogwen is cornering them like a herd of sheep. Super Marco back in. It's Ogwen with the 3rd and Phil with the 4th. Falcons AP Bren running SYS down.
Yeah, it's rough, you know, tier 2 at the bot lane, Turtles taken, Lord coming up in a couple minutes. I gotta say, AP Bren, they've been very methodical. They haven't seen much losses. Yeah, a couple of deaths here and there, but both on the Hilda, which you don't really need too much farm. And in some sort of sense for AP Bren. So this is where we start to see AP Bren scale out of control. And at this point, I think See You Soon, the best they can hope for is that Flick can find some sort of a resource farming on side lanes, try to get some stacks under his belt, and then hopefully they can come in the late game. They still have Claude as an insurance, but time is running out.
And not just time, but space on the map. Right?
That's right.
Bot lane, no more tier 2, and all tier 1s are gone. He just show up top, forced away by Phil, and chased down by the rest of Fcap, which means this tier 2 also falls. I'm not really sure where else can Flick go, honestly.
Honestly, it's been a while since I've seen Flick with the blue buff, and it must be suffering to see an assassin without his blue buff, especially for heroes like Fanny and Ling.
It's going to be a tough one with Boxy going down.
Oh my
Kautizi almost finding a run. This time Run will survive, but Fcap at this rate are going to break all outer tier turrets. Felix penalty zone responds with a three-man lockdown, but at the end of the day, they still could not defend the structure.
Yeah, like I said, it's so important for the early game for both these two teams. Even with such a good penalty zone, there's just no follow-up because the rest of the team don't really have that mobility. You have an Aurora that has to stand too far back because you have to worry about the Fanny. On top of it, there isn't a way for the Claw to come back in because he hasn't even gotten his second or third items.
Exactly. So for the side of Fcap, now they have just broken the Holy Shield off that mid inhibitor as well. Just wait for the Lord to spawn, and once they get it, this would be an easy push. I mean, almost a 10k goalie, right? This is a death sentence.
Yeah, I just want to put it out there, right? You compare the number of times that Ling has the purple buff versus the amount of kills that they have. Which one do you think is higher at this point? I'm sorry. Okay, that was a little bit dirty. I gotta admit, that was a little bit dirty.
You know the answer. We can't say it out loud, but yes, Fcap, obviously.
Right. So Lord's taken now at this point. I think it's pretty straightforward. You're just gonna wait for Lord spawn, manage the waves out there, just make sure that See You Soon gets choked out of control. And this is tough because as a Ling, as a Claude, you want to be able to farm outside your base to get a resource, and with the waves starting to crash in, you're sharing that goal among the rest of the team. So this means that it's going to be harder for both of these players to get their items. And well, for AP Bren, they're having the time of their life. They just looking outside the windows, looking at See You Soon like, hey, come join me. Come, the water is warm. The water is fine.
Is there any way for See You Soon to kind of make a recovery? I mean, it looks hopeless. I would say it's hopeless. If it were me, I would press surrender. But obviously, in this case, you got to play until the end. So is there a recovery angle?
Well, I think it's really AP's Brand's game to lose at this point because See You Soon, all they have to hope for is possibly a catch on the Fanny, but you know, the way that Kautizi is going in, I don't think we'll see one.
Whoa, he's going straight for Flick, and that's Tempest of Blade. Kautizi tries to go for the timing, doesn't get it. And See You Soon will try to mount a 3-lane defense, but you can only defend so much. A pull! Penalty zone counter engage from Sorian Felix into a blazing duet, but the damage is just not there. Flapteezy with the peel on this Xborg, last standing to the back as Frozen. That's immortality out. Sorian Felix and Boxy both go down. Flick chased away from his own base. Kautizi showing up into the fight. Falcons AP Brand thriving in the chaos, and See You Soon just desperately trying to hold on, but Flapteezy will not give them a chance. It is a barbecue season for the Xbox. Fcap slowly whittling down See You Soon. Rod next on the chopping block, forced back to his fountain, and Falcons AP Brand takes game 1.
Hey, it was all style points at the end. Flapteezy just going haywire with the steel cables. On top of that, they definitely could have ended the base way earlier than how they take. I gotta say, this was the story that we expected, right? We hoped for a better fairy tale for See You Soon, but as things go, as the story goes, I think there was definitely no surprise.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, it's
you caught this.
Yeah, I know. I mean, this is what happens when Ling goes up against Hilda. What can you do?
It's tough.
It's tough. I mean,
And
it's
a
assassin
Fanny.
matches in general, right?
Not just a Hilda, but a Fanny too.
But a Fanny. We saw what happened to
overwhelming.
Boxy, right? Got first blooded in under 1 minute, and afterwards, like, how do you keep up? It feels so hard as a Guinevere to try and keep up with a Hilda through her rotations.
And on top of it all, they still had an Xbox to deal with. It was just so tough. You can see at the end, you know, Xbox just using the last insanity to just zone out members of, well, See You Soon. And, well, guess what? I think we could see a repeat of that beatdown in MSC after all.
I mean, let's see, right? I hope not for the second game, but yeah, we expected somehow a very fast game. We got it because Fcap, man, their draft, their execution is
on point.
Always, on point, very sharp as well. And they, once that metal, that pedal is already on that metal, no way. No way, they can't stop them.
Yeah, we discussed a little bit about Ra being the #1 ranked mid laner from their region, not just on the team, but the region overall. And we can actually see that from the drafting phase, right? It was reflected from Fcap's side. They were clamping down on his hero pool. Valentina, no. Angela? No. Forced him onto an Aurora, where you mentioned it was she's limited by where the fight happens. Well, the fight never really happens in front of Ra.
Well, there's a Hilda, there's a Fanny you have to deal with, Xbox in your face, and then on top of it, there is a Zusk. So honestly, not much that Aurora could have done in this game. So it's not really Ra's fault. But hey, here's the post game screen. It's as one-sided as it can be. Just look at the amount of lead that each and every single one of Fcap's member has over to SYS. Just look at Ogwen at 5,672. He's like what, the top 5 farmed? He's equally farmed as the top farmer in See You Soon.
Exactly. First impressions of Flick and Rangoni.
You know what? First impression. Yeah, they're wrong. They're wrong. I think that's
they're wrong. Just one line.
Or no, yeah, they're wrong.
Enough said. Ends there.
I need more samples, is what I'm trying to say.
So we still have game 2, right? A potential game 3, but game 2 coming up is what's really gonna seal the deal for first impressions. But for now, we kind of went through the matchup of Run against Super Marco, Flick against Kyle Teasy. So far, it's a 1-0 to Fcap, right? No arguments there.
Yeah, I think the only surprise I would say that game 1 kind of showed me was the creativity of SYS. Although as one-sided it was, you can see, sort of flair that SYS brings to the table, like the Rome Guinevere. Not many teams will dare to bring it out, especially against a team like Fcap. So I think even though they are up against one of the best teams in the world, the fact that they are willing to just try their style, their way, the SYS way, I think we have to give them credit.
Yeah, that's something that we respect. I think a lot of people respect about SYS. That's what makes them unique, even though they lose, even though in losses, and that's what helped them beat some of the best teams in the world. And we've seen it over and over again. This graph, though, Nani, it's one-sided, right? What can you say?
Yeah, similar story from our previous game. But yeah, speaking of that, very bold move indeed. That's why I expected more of a safer pick. I don't know if the outcome will be different, but Akufa perhaps might, help with the movement, with the mobility, with steel cables from Kyle TZ. But then again, there's a Hilda. So
yeah, look at the huge spikes that Fcap has whenever they take a huge objective, especially the team clashes there. Remember, at one point in time, we saw them pressuring not only all 3 lanes, but Fanny was also taking the total. Yeah. So that's an insane amount of lead that they had throughout the entirety of the game. It wasn't like, oh, this is a good comeback. It was just all the way from minute 1, from that first blood, right, that FlipTC had, all the way to the end.
Yeah, and a big part of that success is Super Marco on that Gold Ruby, which happens to be our MVP of game number 1, 2-0 and 6. This Ruby Gold lane we theory crafted for game 1 between TLPH and NIP Flash. We get to see it in the hands of Super Marco, and let me just say, this man is just a beauty to watch on this Ruby. When you think he goes down, he doesn't.